Hi, I'm Erin Nielsen. I'm a family law attorney with Wilshins, Cosentino, and Novins, and I'm here today with Patty Sutherland, a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty, Boston Northwest. Patty and I are going to talk today a little bit about the home selling process in general and specifically the process as it relates to families who are going through a divorce. So, Patty, thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Erin.
So, Patty, is there anything in particular people should be looking for in a real estate agent when they are going through a divorce?
Well, what I would say about families who are experiencing divorce is that number one, the home is typically one of the most significant financial assets.
Mhm.
And so, associated with divorce, there's both kind of emotional and financial concerns. So, I think it's really helpful to have an agent who is not only well experienced in residential real estate transactions, but also working with complex family situations. And there are a variety of those. There are some cases where there are, parents who have left a home to 5 children, and all 5 children need to agree. I would say that even in the best of times with a married couple, husband and wife don't always see eye to eye. So having someone who kind of understands the process, understands the ups and downs, um, and someone who is comfortable being both a negotiator, as it relates to the transaction to sell the house, but also a little bit of a mediator and someone who can kind of hold a neutral ground when two parties may or may not always agree.
So you mentioned there were both financial and emotional issues that need to be dealt with. So let's talk first about some of the financial questions. How do you help families evaluate the value of their property, their asset?
Well, typically what I will do is I will sit down with a family either in person or separately, depending upon the relationship. I think Zoom is the perfect opportunity to allow people to sit in separate rooms or households and be able to talk with me together. But we'll sit down and kind of talk through what the house is all about, what the details of the house are. It is really helpful for me to be able to visit the home and be able to walk through the home. And then it's during that process that I can answer questions about the financial aspects. So there's the financial aspects of preparing the home. So does it need to be cleaned and well maintained? I mean, those are the two big ones. Many times, because of the financial concerns, divorcing families are not looking to put a lot of extra money
Mhm.
into a home in order to sell it. But there are certain basic things that need to be done. Things like leaky faucets need to be taken care of, and squeaky boards you might want to fix, things like that. And I often work together with people, not only with a list of contractors, but also a staging professional. I'll say as people are preparing their home, make certain that it's clean, well maintained, and well presented. So cleaned and well maintained is pretty straightforward. Well presented, having a staging professional involved is helpful. So there's preparing the home, getting it ready. There are also those expenses associated with the actual sale of the home. Certainly they have to pay off any outstanding mortgage, pay off any outstanding home equity line of credit. If there are tax liens or mechanics liens, any of those sorts of things, the home needs to be free and clear of those types of encumbrances. There's also the brokerage commission. And in our market, that can range from I've seen anywhere from 4.5% to 6% of the sale price, and that is the seller's cost. There's also the cost of an attorney. And I think with the complexities of real estate transactions, you really do need to have a real estate focused attorney working with you on that. And then there are, kind of miscellaneous costs associated with payoffs of mortgage and wiring of funds and that sort of thing.
In terms of establishing value, how do you help people decide what price they're going to try to sell their house for so they can figure out how much they might walk away with?
Sure. There's what's called a comparative market analysis. Many real estate agents will refer to this as a CMA. And a comparative market analysis really is developed after an agent has been able to walk through the home, take lots of notes about the condition of the home, the age of the systems, and that sort of thing. And then they go away and do some research relative to their personal experience and the experience of the market. So it's comparing the subject home or the home that's for sale with a variety of other homes in the market, and then coming up with either a price range or an actual list price for the house.
Okay. And is that different from the appraisal process?
It is slightly different. Both real estate agents and appraisers take the same basic courses to begin with. Appraisers then take some additional hours of training. So an appraisal is typically done by a licensed professional appraiser. Appraisals can be done on properties for a variety of different reasons. If it's a fairly standard, straightforward home in a community, so for example, in my home market of Acton and about 10 to 15 miles radius around that, there are many colonials in terms of a home style. So it's fairly straightforward from a comparative market analysis perspective to identify what that home value is or that list price is. If you have a horse farm or a property that has some special uses associated with it, then you might want to bring in an appraiser as well. The appraisers that I work with most frequently are the lender's appraisers. And the lender's appraiser really is charged with ensuring that the sale price, that the appraisal at least meets the sale price. So they may not often go over a sale price. Once they know that the bank has minimized their risk in that regard, then they kind of conclude their process there. But they are a third party from the bank. They aren't directly related to the bank. They are selected from a list, but it is a third party appraisal in that regard.
So those were some of the financial issues. How do you deal with kind of the emotional issues that go along with working with divorcing families?
Well, I say with mutual respect, compassion, and care. There are, divorcing families are going through a variety of different emotions. One party or the other may have more fear than the other. I've often said with married couples, even though they may not agree, they're focused on the same goal, selling the home and buying, a new home. So they may have a little bit of fear, but mostly excitement. On the other hand, divorcing families are probably predominantly in, kind of fear mode. And so it really takes an agent who has some life experience and has some compassion about what that couple and those individuals may be going through. I think that there are many times when an agent is not only a real estate agent and a negotiator, but also a mediator in that regard. And there are certain subjects that are clearly within our job description in terms of selling the home. And then there are those subjects that, frankly, are not our business. And so that's when I might say to someone, gosh, you know what, I think this is a subject for your attorney, or this may be a subject for your caregiver, or whoever it is, that relates to that particular subject. I'll often ask couples, would you like my opinion on this? Or may I lend some words from my experience? And if they say yes, then I venture into that conversation. But if they don't, then I don't. But I always ask permission.
So Patty, you mentioned that you work primarily in the Acton area, is that right?
I do. I grew up in Acton, went to Acton Boxborough. I did go away for 25 years and worked in the commercial real estate industry, most recently in New York City. And I'm happy to say that today I'm here in Massachusetts in Acton. And so I predominantly am focused on Acton and the surrounding towns. There are times when I have sold homes in Acton, and then people, because of their experience with me, and particularly with my negotiation skills, they've asked me to follow them to towns like Marlborough or Andover, or kind of in a broader radius. Many times, though, my preference when I'm going outside of a radius that I'm familiar with, that I will refer people to someone who I know and trust in that market as a real estate agent. So typically I can, if they aren't in my general market, I can interview them and kind of get a sense for where they're looking, and then be able to refer them out.
Thank you, Patty, for sharing your knowledge with me today. What's the best way for people to contact you if they would like to reach out?
Well, I always say that, call me, text me, or email me. I'm always available. I have older children, so it makes life a little bit easier that way. But people can go directly to my website at sutherlandrealtygroup.com, and they'll see all my contact information, including my email, phone number, and they can, respond to me right from my website as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Patty.
Thank you, Erin. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.